one. It is game day as the Carolina Hurricanes head down to the Sunshine State to take on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa Bay coming into this game losers of their last 5, so expect a good performance out of them to try and break that streak. Carolina coming off of an overtime win versus the Pittsburgh Penguins. As we do take a look at some of the players to watch tonight for Tampa. Nikita Kucherov off to a torrid pace with 55 points through 35 games, including 38 assists, leading the team in that department. Brayden Point comes into the game with 23 goals, the leader of the Lightning in that department, and 45 points so far through this season. And then a familiar face, Jake Guentzel, making his second appearance against the Canes since moving off from us. 36 games played, 39 points so far this season. I'm going to pass it over to you, Cam. What are you seeing from these guys, and what does Carolina need to do to shut them down?
Well, really just kind of do what every other team's been doing against them for the last 5 games is just make sure to shut down that top line. You know, if you shut down the Kucherov, Point, Guentzel line, then, you know, they don't have a lot of depth on their forward side. D side, I mean, they're a little bit better, and then obviously the goaltending for them is stellar, as always. Both goalies they have in Vasilevsky and I think it's Johansson is their backup. Even when he comes in, he plays really well too. So I'm assuming the Canes are going to see Vasilevsky, so they just have to make sure that they're on top of it. Again, I don't think Vasilevsky's a player that if you get a ton of shots on, that shots are going to go in. So I think that, you know, this is going to benefit of...
Got to be quality over quantity.
Yeah, you have to take your chances because you got to get his head early. I don't think just firing pucks at him from every which direction is a good thing. It's like he's one of those goalies where once he, you know, feels a couple pucks on him, he's just locked in for the rest of the game. So that's the biggest thing for me.
Yep. And to add to that point, we need to keep the net front going. It was definitely better in that Pittsburgh game versus the Minnesota game. But you just got to be consistent with it, especially with a goalie like Andrei Vasilevsky, one of the best in the world. You have to get to his eyes. You can't allow him to see anything, and you can't allow him to get set up early 100%. A big positive note, though, if you do look at his nationality, he is Russian-born, so Pyotr Kochetkov should have an absolutely splendid night tomorrow night against the Tampa Bay Lightning if all holds true for what he typically does against the Russian-born goaltenders. And then final note, Cam, one player to look out for on the Hurricanes real quick. Who do you expect to have a big night?
Well, who do I expect versus who do I think needs to have one? It might be a little bit different. I expect Aho to continue and be the guy that he's been, especially I feel like the last week he's kind of turned it around, you know, been ever since the Florida game. I feel like the Florida game really was kind of a turning point for him. You saw how physical he was. He was the gamer in that game. Like, he outgamed Tkachuk. He did what he needed to do as one of the leaders of the team. So I think he's going to have a big night. I think Nate just needs to have a big night. He needs to start having a big night. I don't know how long we're going to keep saying that he needs to get back on track, but, you know, yeah, he was at one point basically one of the top contenders for the Hart, and now he's fallen way off pace. So he needs to be better.
He's almost gone from 2 points a game down to 1 point a game. So
yeah, exactly. So which is insane to think
within
about,
the span of a month.
You know, he needs to start producing again, and then obviously I think Aho definitely has a big game though, for sure.
Yep. And then one guy I will just make note of, Seth Jarvis, coming off of a 2-goal performance against Pittsburgh. He had a big night. I fully suspect him to continue going in the right direction. He's a gamer as well too. He's one of those guys, hates having a bad game. So when he starts getting into a routine and a rhythm, we saw it his rookie year, we saw it last year. Once he gets hot, he's one of the hottest players in the NHL. So I hope that he keeps the pace going that he's at right now. But that will be the pregame preview for you guys today. And as we always say, let's go Canes.